The very first tense that we learn when we are learning a foreign language, any foreign language, is always the present tense, okay? And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today, the Spanish present tense. Hello and welcome to another Spanish lesson with me, Eva. Today I will show you how to conjugate Spanish verbs, regular Spanish verbs, in the present tense, in presente indicativo. Okay, good. So as I said, I'm going to give you the rules, which means you will only be able to use these rules with the regular verbs, verbs that respect these rules, okay? And as you know from one of my previous lessons, in Spanish there are three groups of verbs. Depending on their ending, there is the first group where all verbs end with ar, okay? Andar, amar, comprar, and many more, okay? That's the so-called first conjugation, okay? Verbs ending in ar. The second conjugation are all the verbs ending in er. For example, beber, temer, etc. And the third conjugation are all the verbs ending in ir. Okay? So any Spanish verb that you see, encounter, learn will either end with ar and belong to the first conjugation, er and belong to the second conjugation, or ir and in that case belong to the third conjugation. Okay? So when we talk about tenses, and today I will tell you how these verbs behave in the present tense, in presente indicativo, we always have to give three different rules, okay? One rule for the first conjugation, one for the second, and one for the third, okay? As if it's not enough to have all these tenses, now each tense has three different rules for three different conjugations. Okay, good. How does it work? When we talk about rules, what we do is we always tell you what happens with these three endings once we get rid of them. Okay, so the first thing is to get rid of this ar ending in the first conjugation, er ending in the second conjugation, and ir ending in the third conjugation. And once these three endings are gone, they've served their purpose, we know whether we are talking about the first, second, or third conjugation verb. Once these endings are gone, we start adding new endings, okay? So for the first conjugation, we will have six endings, six different endings, and I will write them in the famous grid, okay? I will do the same, another grid for the endings for the second conjugation and another grid for the endings for the third conjugation, okay? Keep in mind this is just present tense, present simple, or as Spanish call it, presente indicativo, okay? So let's say a verb amar, to love. That's a verb belonging to the first conjugation, okay? So we have amar, okay? As I said, the first step is to get rid of this ending, and now we are left with the root of the verb, okay? Let's see what endings we will add to as we go through the grid. Okay, so I love will be amo. I love is simply amo. No need to say yo amo in Spanish. Okay, you can, but there is no need. And I actually encourage you to learn the conjugations without these personal pronouns I, you, he, she, we, you, and they. Okay, simply because the Spanish most of the time don't use them. Okay, and I want you to get used to using the verbs on their own without yo and tu and el and other pronouns. Okay, so we will have I love, amo. You love, amas. He loves or she loves or usted ama. We love, amamos. You, the plural you, so you, a group, you love, amáis, and they love, aman. Okay, I'll do it one more time. Amo, amas, ama, amamos, amáis, aman. Okay, apart from learning these endings or conjugating the verb with these endings, it's very important also to get the accent in the right place, to place the stress on the right syllable. Okay, that's why I've created a playlist on my YouTube channel, a playlist that only consists of shorts, which means they are no longer than 1 minute, and in each short I simply repeat over and over again a conjugation of a verb in a tense. Okay, so for example, you can go and look it up. You will find the verb amar in the present tense, and you will see me and hear me conjugate amar, but most importantly you will hear where the accent is, which syllable is stressed. Okay, because it's not amo, it's amo. Okay, it's very important that you get the stress in the right place, and doing it with me using my shorts, you will hear it over and over again. The idea is that you repeat it over and over again as well, and it just becomes second nature to you. Okay, so what you will do is, whether you're doing it with my shorts or simply on your own without listening to me, you need to drill this. You need to go through this grid many, many times, and you will say amo, amas, ama, amamos, amáis, aman. And then you will do the same. Well, you will do this several times, and then you will do the same with another verb from the first conjugation. For example, to work is trabajar. Okay, that one is a little bit longer, but it works the same. So we take the verb trabajar, we take away the ending, the ar ending, and now we start adding these. Okay, and then you say trabajo, trabajas, trabaja, trabajamos, trabajáis, trabajan. Okay, and you repeat it, you repeat it, you repeat it, so that your brain remembers. Next time you want to use one of these, your brain will automatically place the stress in the right place because it got used to placing it in the right place. Okay, so make sure you repeat these drills many, many times, and you basically get the hang of having the accent or the stress in the right place. Okay, good. Okay, a verb ending in er, to drink. beber, beber, okay? Again, we get rid of this ending, and the new endings for beber in the present tense are bebo, bebes, bebe, bebemos, bebéis, beben. Okay? Bebo, bebes, bebe, bebemos, bebéis, beben. Again, you can just practice this on your own, but I do encourage you, at least to start with, to use my shorts, because you will hear where the accent is, you will hear where I place the stress, and if you repeat after me, and again, it's not just pronouncing these sounds properly, it's also placing the stress in the right place. If you repeat after me, you will be practicing both your pronunciation and the stress, okay? Placing the stress in the right place. Good? Okay, and another one with ir, to live, vivir. Same thing, we get rid of ir and then we start adding new endings. Vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, vivís, viven. Okay? As you can see, yo always ends with o. I love, I drink, I live, all these end with o. Amo, bebo, vivo. And now things start being different. Here, they all end with a, the ar conjugation. We all have a, and a. Er conjugation, we have e, and e. Ir conjugation, something happens. We have e everywhere, obviously not counting the first one, yo. We have e everywhere, so this repeats, except here with these two. The plural, we and you. Okay? These maintain the e or the I in English. Okay? Again, the only way to learn this properly and really not have to think about it when you speak, because when you speak, you're not just saying one word. When you speak, you have to speak in sentences, and you don't want to come to the point where you need to insert a verb and then have to go through this grid in your head, okay? So you need to sort of train your brain to learn this grid, and then it will be so much easier to pick the right form when you need to use it, okay? That's why I swear by the grid, because just visually you know that this is I, this is you, and this is he, she, or in Spanish, usted, okay? And you know that the right-hand column is plural, so it's we, you, and they, okay? And all you have to do to start with is just repeat the grid, repeat these conjugations, and just sort of engrave them in your memory, okay? Good. Okay, so these are the three conjugations in Spanish. The first one, ar, er, second one, er, and the third one, ir, and the endings that the verbs have in the present tense. Now, this is the rule. So only the regular verbs, and that's where the name comes from, they're regular, they respect, honor this rule. Only the regular verbs will do it this way, okay? There are also irregular verbs where some things might change, okay? It's not so much about the endings as it is, but we will come to that, as it is something happens with the root, okay? Because with these verbs, nothing happened with the root. Once we got rid of this ending, ar, er, or ir, the root was am, he, beb, he, and vive, live here. And that same root is what we were using when we were attaching, adding these endings, okay? So the root did not change. With irregular verbs, we do see some changes in the root itself, okay? But we will come to the irregular verbs in another lesson. For the time being, just remember that regular verbs will follow this rule. Okay. If you've enjoyed this lesson and maybe some others as well, and you haven't subscribed yet, maybe you should do it now before you forget it. Also, hit the bell button, and any lesson video that you like, maybe more than others, you can show it by liking it below. Okay, take care, good luck with this, and I'll see you in the next lesson.